You're out of line. It's way too much. Demi, I'll tell you one thing. I came here to make amends, but not to be fucking bullied, okay? So watch it.
I'm gonna touch up Gigi real quick.
Are you recording, CJ?
Love you.
Yeah.
Can you stop touching your hair and
Yes,
pull
I'm
your
trying
pull
to
the mic?
fix this side.
Your secret is safe with me.
So it's the real thing, huh?
Yeah. I like it though.
I too.
It's cute. Are you nervous?
No,
You should be. I'm just kidding.
I feel like you shouldn't be. This is stuff that we need to talk about. Before we get rolling though, like I told you, we're just like gonna go into it and probably go in a little bit more in depth than we did on your podcast. So this is a safe zone, like you told me.
Yes.
Say exactly how you feel.
Okay.
We are both valid to our own emotions. How we feel are both sides to everything that happened.
Cool.
Right?
I'm down, yes.
Okay. And Patrick, for one, is not taking sides at all. He knows us both for a very long time.
Yes.
Just asking questions, and most of the questions are just in vague. Does that make sense? Like both of us to answer. Like both of you answer this.
Yes.
You know?
Cool.
I'm here to moderate, and this is my studio, so
Yeah. And we're in P. This is a P Star Productions. Let's get that in there. Wherever like this is a P Star Productions. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you know, it is Itslademi, the one and only. We are doing things a bit differently today. I have a very special guest on my channel that I have a lot of history with, a long journey with, and as you know, we had a very public friendship back then in the day. It's only right to settle things out publicly, as a lot of you have asked on lives every time I'm live streaming on something or on something, what happened, where is this person, where did they go, and what went wrong. I want to let you guys know that today I have a lot of emotions. I have a lot of things that have been never said. So I just want to let you know I am valid to those emotions. If I cry, I cry. If I'm happy and I laugh, or if I don't agree on certain things, that's me, as well as my guest. I want you to respect how I feel and also how my guest feels, and just take what you will from it from this video, but also know that there's always time to reconcile, talk about things, and grow from things and become a better human as time evolves. So with no further ado, I would like to welcome this guest to my channel. It's been years, 5+ years, I'll say. And with no further ado, welcome to my channel, Gigi Gorgeous.
Thanks for having me, first and foremost. This is like an insane setting. I never thought we would be doing this. I'm really happy we are doing this. Everybody that has followed us, it's been a journey, to say the least. And it's been something that I've harbored in, and ever since we started talking again, has made me really happy, because it has lifted a weight off my shoulders. Have been like, okay, I finally can talk about this. I finally have talked to her about this. And it's just been way too long. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And let's just set the record straight. I'm an open book. Nothing is off limits, just like when you came on my podcast.
This is a safe zone.
Yes.
For you to fully express how you feel, and I'm fully going to express how I feel.
Cool.
Now, I do have on my channel, I have Patrick Starr, one of our good friends, mediating the situation. Patrick is not taking sides, doing anything but answering and asking us both valid questions through this journey and getting down to the bottom of what technically happened, what went wrong, and why we are here today, 5+ years later.
Patrick, what is your stance on the entire situation? Not that you have a side, I'm just very curious.
as an influencer and have been in the public eye, I have had a breakup with a friend as well, public. And so for this to happen, it's like special. You just never know what's gonna happen. But I know a lot of people watching admire you both as friends, as beautiful women that have transcended a lot in their lives and have gone through losses in your own lives. And I know a lot of people cannot just learn about you as women and as influencers, but on how to get through friendships as well. And I know a lot of people watching can learn from this, because a breakup, whether it's a significant other or not, is very hard. So I'm gagged.
I never saw this day coming, and especially not on my channel at all.
I did.
You did?
Yes, that's where we differ. When we first met, it was like, I feel like worlds colliding. Like, it was very much so, I was just starting my transition. You hadn't even started yours. And it was one of those things where it wasn't a friendship, it was a built-in sisterhood. That's how I felt. That's how I still feel. So when we had our falling out, however many years ago, like 5, 6, whatever it is, I always thought I will talk to her again. This is not the last time. We both just need to fucking grow up. And it's one of those things where so many things happened. And now I'm like, we needed that time, but also we didn't, because I miss you. And like your like humor and like your, just the way you talk to me, like the way that we talk to each other, like our taste in music, everything. It's like, I just love our friendship and our sisterhood. So like, it hurts me that you're like, oh, we would never talk again.
But that stems from a place of being hurt, of course. You know, deep down thinking like, I don't want that. That was horrible to go through and triumph through. So that's just where I started from, resonated.
You thought you could avoid me forever?
No.
I knew it.
I didn't think I knew there would be circumstances, but I mean, we're here today. We have a list of questions to go through.
Oh, we do.
So let's dive in. And I'm going to be fully uncensored, feeling deep into my heart, because this is what I need, and I feel like you need, for us to get to know each other 5+ years later and understand the women we are today. And it's not going to happen overnight. And I know that, you know what I mean? And it's going to take time, but we're going to build that, you know what I mean, throughout the years.
Pinky promise. I'll be honest too.
I'm going to be honest.
Me too.
Okay. Patrick?
All right, first question. When and how did you both meet, and what year?
Okay, so I feel like this varies, right? So I remember us meeting at an after party at Mo's house up on Mulholland, Mulholland, and you passed me a drink. We were in the kitchen. You were very androgynous at the time. You were not out as trans. You didn't even know that you were trans.
No.
And we were just in the kitchen, we were talking, whatever. And then we went outside and I was like, hey, could I have a sip of your drink? And you passed it to me and I sipped it and I spit it into the grass. And I said,
you need rehab.
I said, you need rehab. You must be an alcoholic. That is way too strong.
It was very strong.
Very funny.
It was a glass full of alcohol, to be quite honest.
Yes. And I feel like that's also still our humor. So just given that moment, it was very like, this bitch is really
and
fucking
I remember
funny.
you telling me you're fucked for that one.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes.
like, in my head, I was like, this is my kind of party.
Yes. Exactly. So that's when I remember us first meeting.
It's the same story for me. I remember having Marcus Molinari, Hutch, back in the limelight, whatever it still is, but like they were very in the scene of Hollywood and everything. And they were like, you've got to meet this girl from Canada. And I think back then it was different pronouns, but I'm going to respect you.
Yes. Oh, actually never. No, it wasn't.
It was.
I was
'Cause
always
to me,
trans in LA.
No.
Maybe you knew me from
It
online,
was like,
but
you got to
nope.
know this bitch. And
This bitch.
it was like, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
You got to know this bitch from Canada. You got to meet her. She's just like you. And when y'all meet, we feel like it's a vibe. And sure enough, you asked me for that sip of my water, took a chug and spit it out and said, you need fucking rehab.
Yes.
And that's when it all began.
And I love that. I mean, I feel like even still, however many years later, it still like reigns very true with us. I feel like it's very tongue-in-cheek, funny.
I don't think I need rehab, bitch.
Oh no, that was a joke. That's what I was saying.
As trans women, how intimate were the both of you sharing each other's transition? Who confided with who, and the story?
Well, it was Gigi first at the time. We were in the club. We sat down and she asked me, what are you? And I remember like the back of my hand this day, I was 17. Was not even supposed to be in the club. And
Were you really only 17?
Yeah.
I think you're boosting it down a bit.
No, I was. Maybe 18. No, you're not going to do that to me. And I said, I'm androgynous.
Yes.
And you
with your
said-
blonde bang, your cute outfits,
A
your
smoky eye, nude lip.
your rail thin little body with your little bangles and
And
stuff.
what are you
used to wear.
insinuating?
That you were really skinny, a fashion model.
Okay. Moving on. We were sitting there and she goes, next week I'm getting my boobs done. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. She goes, you should do it too. You're going to transition, huh? I can see it. And I was like, no, I'm androgynous. I'm like coming into my thing. I like wearing makeup and dabbling and gender bending. And she goes, no, you're trans. I'll pay for it. And I go, no, being a Scorpio person that has always done everything on my own, I was like, absolutely not. No, thank you. So that's where it started. She was like, I'm going to go back And then a couple weeks later, I'm going to get my face done. And I was like, you don't need anything. And you were like, yes, I do. I'm doing this. I have this friend. She showed me the way, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then sure enough, a week came and I think you sent me a photo or something. Or I followed up on a text message. We were freshly new friends.
Fucked up. Looking
so
crazy.
I was like, how did it go? And sent me a picture of the boobs all wrapped up. Happened in Beverly Hills, staying at the Avenue, whole bit back in the day.
Oh my
And I was
God,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, should I come over? You said, absolutely, we're going out tonight. Came over, bandages, everything. We went out, whatever. Time lapse, you got your whole face done. Then came back from Canada and it was a whole new Gigi.
Yes.
And it was like, and back then when I met you, it was still.
See, that's the thing. Okay, so you're messing two things up. My dead name is Gregory, and you never met me as that.
I did.
You never met me as that.
Yes.
Whenever I was in LA, that was my safe space. Whenever I landed in LA, it was Gigi, and that's why I fled there so much.
You introduced yourself to me as that.
I don't think I did. Another thing,
Okay.
I got my face done first, then my boobs.
Okay, maybe got that mixed up.
Mixed up, yeah,
But
so a
I
little
met you
mixy.
before all of that.
Yes,
Yes.
you did. Yeah, my mom passed away when I was 19, and that's when I decided, you know, it was too late, or not too late to tell her, but not soon enough for me to do what I wanted to do. So right after that, got my face, and then for my 21st birthday, when I was 20, got my boobs.
But you introduced me to me. You introduced yourself to me as.
I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
Maybe you don't remember, but you
I
did.
didn't.
Because that was like your popping thing at the time. Like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah from YouTube. I'm not going to say it, whatever. But that was my introduction to you.
Agree to disagree.
Okay, moving on. Next question.
Oh, wait. Did I answer? I did, right?
What is Demi correct in her confiding in you? And then
Oh, the confiding. I mean, I think Gigi confided in me first by letting me know her business as to getting her face done and her boobs done. And I, at the time, was not sure of my whole gender identity, being stuck and not knowing, but I rooted for you. I was the first one over at your place when you got the boobs, when you got the face. I told you, you've got to lose the short bob. I said, we're putting extensions in this hair.
Yes,
you are a
she
woman
did.
now.
So embarrassing.
And she pulled her hair up and there was all these scabs and staples
Yes,
everywhere.
yes.
And she said, clip the extensions around the cuts. And that's exactly what I did. I was sitting there clipping in the extensions around the scabs and the staples.
Still bleeding.
Still
Oozing,
bleeding.
squirting.
Clipping them and then
Squirting.
razoring them to be into a haircut. So I feel like in the sisterhood transition of it all, I was very much so your ally.
Yeah, I feel like we were allies to the same degree. Like,
We were?
I think so. I mean, with the name change, with everything, I feel like it was very like, whatever you wanted to do, I was there for you 100 million times over and over and over again. And whenever like we would go out, it'd be like, you'd maybe get misgendered or the name, or I would. You'd be
You know
like,
what? I'll give that to
bitch.
you. I'll give that to you. I was misgendered so much, and you were in the peak, not the peak, because maybe now you're in your peak. But back
Thanks.
then, welcome.
So are you.
Thanks. Back then, I thought that, like in my eyes, seeing it unfold under all my eyes that I had, I was like, wow, this is like woman, whatever. So me rolling around with you in that time of pop candies, paparazzi,
Hollywood.tv.
yes, in the club so much, I would get misgendered and you would be standing right there. And I will give that to you. You did not leave me. You did not say anything. You would defend me and say, this is my friend Demi. And that was it. So I give that to you.
You would do that for me too, though.
I would. When it happened to you, I would do that too.
Absolutely.
And I would drop, I named you Giselle. I was like,
Yes.
that's Giselle.
We named each other.
You did.
Oh
You-
my God. I named you Demi and you named me Giselle. I just clicked.
But before that, so she knew your dead name, Gregory, and allegedly introduced, and millions of people knew you as Gregory Gorgeous.
Yes.
Until, you transitioned. So you met Demi as her dead name, Charles. Is that how you guys met? Just to clear the
she
air.
met me as Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Okay.
I was known as Dimitri, my
Dimitri.
middle name in the
Okay.
scene. And she's the one that said, look, you have a look going for you. You need to drop the tree and just go by Demi.
Demi. So
Yes.
Dimitri went to Demi.
And if we go even deeper, we came up with La Demi together.
I don't remember that. We did?
Remember, I used to be silly with my Spanish and say la whatever, whatever, la whatever,
La
whatever.
babosa.
It was you and Scott Fisher. We were in the hotel room at the Andes back when you used to visit from Canada, and we
Love
were
that
all
place.
brainstorming like, what can your Instagram handle be that would be catchy?
Mm-hmm.
And I used to say la whatever, la this, la that, like trying to invert my Latina side to every situation.
Right.
And we thought about Lana Del Rey, like how beautiful that sounds.
I cannot.
And y'all were like, what about La Demi? And I was like, La Demi? And then you go, it's La Demi. And I was like, and that's what it changed to.
So does that count as you being there for her transition entirely?
No.
I wasn't. It's for Gigi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you feel that I wasn't there for your entire transition?
Continue with your question.
Go ahead.
Honestly, though.
I mean, you weren't.
Well,
Why?
You just
How?
said that she's there for the name change.
She was there for the beginning of everything, but as through the whole journey of it, no.
Like the
at
little-
least that's how I feel.
So where do you think that I left off?
A lot of it. I mean, I don't know what I
Like,
should
what did I miss?
It's like I was scared to talk to you about being trans or wanting to be trans because it was like, are you sure you want to do hormones? Is that what you want? And I felt pressured, but it was what I wanted. But at the same time, at the time, as a close friend, didn't want to make you feel like my loyalty lied elsewhere to where what everyone else was telling me behind the scenes of you not knowing, I would think, of like me jumping over your head and trying to become something better or amazing, you know? So like I felt like I could never really talk to you about my transition and I had to just keep it at androgyny. And that's why with you, I probably was so comfortable with like the no makeup, the this, the that, because I felt like I did have to strip it all down and be chill with you because I never wanted you to feel like that.
Wait, Demi, are you totally sure that you're remembering it right? Because we were in Israel when you got your second tits, I think, and my brother took care of you. And me and G were very involved with that whole situation. We were checking in every single day. We were FaceTiming, making sure you were chill. August was zooming you around on the wheelchair, making sure that everything was okay. Like, Gigi was very involved with a lot of medical procedures with your transition. And I know she was really supportive of everything that you did. So I don't know if that's 100% like factual.
The first boob job, yes, you were there. August took care of me. It's all documented on YouTube.
Yeah,
But-
so you can't say that Gigi was like worried that you were gonna overtake her as like a trans person that's like beautiful on YouTube when G was like very involved with like the medical side of your
Thing
transition.
is,
Like,
so
come
listen,
on.
so thing is, the only thing I've ever wanted to see is you succeed. Ever.
Okay.
And that may be hard to hear because of like preconceived notions of like just things, which I'm
Okay.
sure we'll get to in your questions. But the only thing I've ever wanted to see you is literally this, like gorgeous, killing it, successful, a woman, like beautiful. That's the only thing I ever wanted. And that's why we got your first boob job. I was there for the whole thing. And I've only ever wanted to see you succeed. So when it became like a,
Wait, can I pause you real quick?
Yeah.
When you say like we got your first boot job, you guys were fully there. Nats, your
Yeah,
brother, your
we
family,
were-
everyone was
We
there.
were a part of it.
Yes,
But so that's why I was saying you can't say that G wasn't supporting you in it because
right,
we
the
were
only
I
thing,
think
the only
I'm
thing, the
pulling
only
from
thing I
the-
feel like I'm
No,
missing,
we were
honestly,
totally about
is you
it.
got
Like,
your face
what are
done
you
and your body
talking
done,
about?
which is all cosmetic. But I was there for all of the brain work. I was there for all the sleepovers. I was there for all the nights out.
I'm speaking on
And the
behalf of the
medical
beginning.
part. No,
Yeah, I was
know,
there for
but-
everything.
Before the surgeries, though, but like you were there for that boob job, and then right after the boob job and the trinket shape, everything went downhill. And that's
Cosmetically, I think that's the only thing I missed because the beginning is where it
But
all
not
really
even
musters. We were
cosmetically,
together
because
every
you were
single
there for
day.
the first few surgeries, so you were there for a lot.
Yes,
of it. So
when you
can't
first
say-
started taking steps within your
you can't
transition,
say that
I was
Gigi
there, but I was there
you can't
much
say that
before.
Gigi wasn't there.
you
for
were
any of
there,
it, and that
but
she
I
was worried
don't
about you
feel like at the
overtaking
time I
her.
could have
That's crazy.
confided. You
In
know what
me.
I mean?
Okay, I can get
'cause
behind
I
that.
was scared. I'm expressing me being scared.
Yes, no, I
Like,
could get behind that.
I'm saying that Gigi was totally we
For the first boob job, and yeah, you guys were
we
my biggest supporters. It's
so
on
there-
YouTube.
Yeah.
you can
no, I
rewind
know,
the tape.
But you before you were saying that we
I mean, she
Gigi
wasn't there for
weren't-
me being like, hey, listen, I'm trans.
What?
I'm this, I'm that. Because I didn't want Gigi to feel at the time like I was taking it to the next level, because there was already so much in my ear about
but-
me doing that. And I was like, what?
Okay, and I
Does that
totally
make sense?
understand
No.
that, but that sounds like
Not
it's
even
more
with the dyeing
on
of the
you
hair
not
and
on
all
Gigi.
the judge before getting tits, why I would feel
You
that
came
way.
out as trans when we were best friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I told you I was on hormones.
Yes.
And it was just like, is that sure? Like, are you sure? Are you taking hormones now? And then it was never like,
Well, maybe that's how you remember it.
Demi,
But
I remember it
much
so
differently.
differently. Like, I'm not kidding. Earlier, after the podcast or during the podcast, I actually went through our texts. I went through dates. I
No,
looked
you
back
guys sent me
I
both
looked-
voice notes being like, I
looked
was in
back
bed
on my
rest,
photos,
and
and I
y'all-
remember seeing your tits before you got them done. I have pictures of everything. Like,
You guys were there for
Gigi
that,
and I,
but
we
for
were
the
super a
main-
part of it. So I'm just saying that it's like unfair to say that Gigi wasn't a part or supporting you during that time, because
You can feel
we
that,
were
but
totally there and supporting you. If you didn't feel supported, I'm so
Me
sorry.
too,
but
and
we
you
can
guys were
really,
my
really-
family at the time.
Of course, and we were totally there for you. So if you didn't feel that way, I apologize, but we were fucking there for you, and we loved you and continue to love you now. But at that moment in time, we fucking adored you, and we
Okay.
were so in your corner.
Can
It's
I
crazy.
say one thing though? That was
for
during
it.
the time period that we had kind of regrouped and came together. Do you remember that? Because for a long time in between, before that, there was no posting together. There was no nothing. So when the boob job, no, there wasn't. Do you remember that time period or no?
Let's just say out of 100% of the of Gigi's transition, how much percent do you feel like you were there for Gigi? And then the same question for you, Demi.
I would say 100%. I wanted her to look the best, do the best, have the best creative direction, video, photos, everything. And if you think otherwise, then whatever, because
I don't think otherwise. I think I was there for you 100% as well.
okay.
And then the other side of the question, you said you felt Demi was there 100%. How much percent do you feel that Gigi was there for your transition entirely?
Probably a lot less, huh? Gauging by your face.
Definitely not 100. Maybe like a 50.
Really?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It
I mean-
is.
Really
It makes me sad because
But
I
that's
feel
how
like
Really
that's how I
sad.
felt.
exactly, but it makes
We've had
me
rekindling
sad.
That's
moments
so
where I told you
sad.
where I felt like back then everything was fake because I didn't understand how we could have so much history and then me just turn into nothing. So I was like, did any of what we actually did together or the journey we had together mean anything?
Question for Gigi. Do you feel that there was a certain moment or pinnacle moment because you were so intimate? You know, I remember you losing your mom, and then Demi lost her father in 2014. And, you know, on the outside, you guys are like best of friends. You guys are going through everything.
She was the first one that I
to
called.
know.
We were best of friends, though. I know that's
No,
that's
we-
how it looked on the outside, but
Right.
that's actually how it was.
On the inside.
100%.
we
Beyond
were.
that.
Beyond.
Was there a certain moment in your eyes that started a different tone in the separation of that?
Okay, so it wasn't one thing. It was a multitude of things. It was us spending too much time together in an unhealthy way. And I'll explain. I love being reckless. I love having fun. I love doing the craziest shit with you. And I always will. It was just a turning point for me because I was getting in a serious relationship with my now husband. And it turned into a moment where I just felt myself drifting from someone I loved into someone that I didn't like. At the time, talking about myself. I loved our time. I loved everything that we've done. So savage, so crazy. I just felt like it was overpowering myself. And although it was selfish, it's something that I had to do because in the end, it did save my marriage. And in the end, I always knew, and this might be the psycho, narcissist, egotistical person inside of me, I know Demi is in my life forever. I know we're sisters forever. Even if she can't have me, even if she is not, we're not gonna be as close as forever, I know we'll always have that bond. Deep down, I know we will. So when I came home, we were living together at the time. We had a talk, and it wasn't that in depth, but it was one of those moments where it was like, this is what I'm going through. We need to take a step back. We need to chill out. And I used those words. I know I did. And then after that, it was kind of like spiraled into not talking as much. And that fucking sucks. I regret that to this day. Like, I handled that like a child.
Same.
But at the time, I feel like I was. Like, I was not mature enough to really set ground rules for my boundaries and be like, this is what I need from you. This is what I don't. And if you're down, you know, hop on board. I hated that I hate that I did that. And I hate that I didn't communicate it to you better, because I know you're all about communication, and that's something that I've always had to work on, and it just fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for that. But in the end, I feel like it's what we needed, because now sitting down with you, like this would not have been like this
No.
if we had done it 5, 6, however long it was ago. I just want you to know, like, being here, sitting here, I just want you to know how much I love you as a sister, how much I love you as a best friend. Like, we had that time off, but like, I really genuinely do love you, like, so much.
I say the same. Like, I think the reason why I was affected as much, and a lot of it is like, to me, because I don't want to say anyone, because obviously your husband is a big handful of you too. You guys are half and half, y'all complete each other. But I was like that other person that like wanted the absolute best for anything and everything, you know. And I feel like you can second that, girl. Come on.
Absolutely.
You
Like,
knew I
the
went
only
in.
thing you wanted was for me to succeed, but I feel like I wish that you knew how bad I wanted you to succeed. Like, whenever I had a gig,
I wish that
we
was
would go
communicated.
together. But like, actions speak louder than words. I would go with you.
Let's rewind to the gigs, because it was very to the gigs. Like, do you remember when you were on the phone and the voice was loud and it was memo to you, when you get to the red carpet, do not walk it with Demi. Demi is to go behind by herself. And when I heard that, my heart sank, because I had already, I think, dyed my hair or some bullshit, or tried to prove. I kept feeling like I was trying to prove myself that, like, I'm loyal. Like, hello, I'm a sister. I'm here for you. And it was like a shot through the heart of being like, this is still going on? Like what kind of friendship is this? You know? And I think that's when it started to get a little shaky. And that's when I started to, I always had that at the back of my head, you know, being like, fuck, you know, I don't want to do anything to catapult someone else's future, you know? So I feel like there was so much I wanted to do and talk to you about, and never felt like I could talk to you about. Meanwhile, anything to do with my life, I could talk to you about. Boys, relationships, my dad's death, family hiccups, me and my childhood. I can talk to you about anything in the whole world. Just when it came to anything related to the same industry as us, or the same anything of our womanhood, I felt a little bit like, I better not go there, because I don't want her to feel like I'm trying to one up or like do something intense, you know? Does that make sense to you or no?
It does. And I'm sorry for that, because I feel like that was really immature. And also, I feel like I was just trying to play the game of LA. Like, I was new to the scene. I had no idea what was going on. I literally had my first publicist, and they were like, you need to walk the carpet alone. And I remember that happened several times, and I would just be so uncomfortable with it, because I don't have bad blood with people. I literally always make sure it's cute. And like, this town is so savage. It's like, I'm just working with this new PR. So like, I got to listen to them, I guess. And my management's telling me one thing, I'm feeling the other. And I hated that I made you feel like that, because at the end of the day, I could have called it off, but I was just going with the flow. And I hate that I did that.
Yeah. And this is like what I told you about a friendship. We came here for the same reasons. We had big dreams, aspirations. When you see a goal at the end of the tunnel, you will do anything to get to that goal and go there. And anything that chimes in between and blocks that, we're literally going to go like, no, and push it aside. And through today and talking to you and on your podcast, I understand why I was taken and pushed aside, but deep down, I don't understand why there wasn't any closure for how close we were. Does that make sense? So me too, like I thanked you earlier about like, you know, I actually thank you, because with our step to the side and breakup, I was able to channel my Demi that I wanted to be.
Yes.
My career that I wanted to do, and go with it with full force, as you did the same thing. And I'm happy for all your accomplishments, you know, like
Ditto. I've
Yeah.
literally, like, even seeing you come in my house like a week before we recorded all of this and you were on my podcast, I was like, this is La Demi.
Yes.
Like, I was getting a bootleg version before. This is La
But
Demi.
you see, that's also what I catapult back to, of like, it's been maybe 6 years that I fully have been La Demi. Boobs, the transition, you know, really feeling my oats and getting into who I truly was. And you did miss out on all of that. Because when I would look around the room and wish for that one person to be there, you weren't there. And it was crickets. And maybe the first person I wished I would be there was my dad, of course. But the second would be you, because you've known me the deepest, the longest. The first person that came to me when my dad passed sent me a video, said, come to my house. We're going to order pizza. We're going to talk about everything. You can cry as much as you want on my shoulder. I know everything. I've been through this before. Let's get through it.
I'm sorry. It's literally going to make me cry. My lashes.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
I'm already.
What's making you cry?
Because I have so many regrets with you too. Like, I just wish that, like, you could have been at my wedding and, like, oh, thank you. Oh my God, are we on Dr. Phil? I just feel like the regrets just keep coming in. Like, the more we talk about it, like, I know there are sad days with losing a parent. I go through them as well. So it's like, I just wish that I could be there for you always, but I wish that you could have been there for, like, my wedding, because it was such a moment. And
Yeah.
I feel like there was somebody missing at the altar when I said I do to Nats. And I can't get over that.
And you know how many long, I'm looking off camera at you, Nats. I've had so many long conversations with you of like, I will never be in the way of you two, because I knew how special it was. And back then there was just so much building up to knowing almost that like, I could lose you as a friend. And back then that was so devastating to me, and I did, and I had to learn how to navigate. But I always told you, and I know you can second this, that I root for this. And if I'm in the way of this and this beautiful love story, that I'm not going to be that person, which is why I knew I had to just leave it as it was and be far away and not be around for anything or the wedding or anything, because I never wanted to feel like I was in between that or the cause of something that could have been so beautiful. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gone, like, peace out, you know? But it also hurt not having you explain to me, like, what was the point? What was beyond this? What was the barrier? Why did it get so bad? You know, and what could you have told me that I could have worked on to become a better person at the time, you know?
Yeah.
And we were both so young. I was so young.
Exactly. And like that's exactly how I feel too. Like it wasn't one thing that you could have worked on. It was literally a multiple effort. And I don't want you to ever feel like it was your fault. If anything, it was my fault. I was being selfish. I was in a relationship and I really felt like I needed to separate myself. I needed time, and I needed to revisit it. And I'm sorry. I really, really am. Like, I don't even know how to express how sorry I am, because I wanted you at my wedding. I wanted all the milestones that I missed. And I know how sentimental you are, and you know how bad at communicating I am. So it's like, we were always there for each other before all of this happened. And now it's like, we can't get that time back. And it kills me.
But we can relearn and grow from that. And that is the reason why I wanted this today, to go through that and hash out what each other felt deep down. Mm-hmm. Because it was a lot of like blind eye, and it was a lot of like, I don't want to say this because of this. And it was so much intense feelings between the two of us as a sisterhood and best friends, to where like nobody wanted it to go sour, you know? And we didn't know what we could say to be like, to offend the other person or make them think otherwise. So
Well, I love you and I'm sorry. I really am.
I forgive you, if you mean it.
Duh.
Oh, can I get touched up, please?
Yeah.
I love you too.
I feel bad. Love you.
Love you too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that's how I felt.
Are you not sorry for anything else?
I'm sorry for.
I'm sorry for this.
Nats. From this point forward, like, the realist, you know? I'm done with anything. I feel like now, if I ever have anything I need to talk about or tell you that, like, I don't like or feel,
We'll just talk about it.
exactly, amongst ourselves, you know? Like, we're grown ladies now.
As you say, the extras on set. I'm not interested in them either.
I'm not interested
So keep
at
your
all.
brother and your aunt.
And keep your twiddly bits.
My hair? Keep them out of
No,
this?
not those. The other little lingering bus,
The extras on set.
the extras on set that have an opinion about everything we talk about or we do that they don't even know that we all communicated on. I'm tired
Demi,
of
I
it.
wish you'd give me more credit.
Demi?
Because I think my own things.
Um,
I think it's very easy to say that it's the extras on set, it's my friends that put things in my head, but it's not. I have a very, very strict, stubborn mind, which you know. So you think a couple things in my ear are really going to influence me that much?
then I just couldn't understand then why you would ever be okay with that long of a 5+ years. Like, I was like,
I wasn't. It's not. No. I mean, it was one of those things where it went on for too long. Like, it was, you said, right after that conversation at my apartment, right after the car crash.
And you weren't even clear about that.
Clear about what?
The conversation of truly what was
I said,
this.
I need space. I need time.
You said we need to take a break.
Yes.
You're gonna go do your NYX Cosmetics thing in Texas,
Yes.
open up the 100th store, do whatever, and we'll talk about it later when you come back. And you said it's become too much.
Yes.
You said when we're together, we go 100 miles per hour, and it's too much for everyone and my relationship that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, of course. And I gave you a whole speech how I would never ever be that friend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Right over the island in the kitchen, we were both standing. I remember it.
Staring at each other. You had a big box of new cosmetics. I cleaned your whole apartment.
You had 100 new dresses in my
our
dressing
apartment,
room.
We were roommates.
We were roommates.
And
And then I came back, you were gone. And
And-
I saw a million bandage dresses in my dressing room.
Of all my clothes
I
I
said,
left
Demi
behind."
left them. She made a point to leave them. See, in my head, this is childhood fucking drama. I'm like, she left all her clothes. Wow. We were going to wear that together. We were going to wear that together. I saw them all folded on the ground. I was like, oh,
And
this
I
is
saw
her
you wear them.
retaliating.
I saw you wear them.
Of course,
When you
when I
came
had-
onto MTV with EJ, or what was it? You were wearing one of my dresses, and I clocked it. I said, that was my dress, bitch. I remember
Probably.
screenshot it, sent it to like a friend, and be like, this bitch had the audacity to wear one of my dresses I left behind.
That was my secret love
But
letter to
honestly,
you.
when I looked at it, I was like, how did I fit in that? Like, that was my size?
You know bandages are stretchy. Cheers. I love you. Can't believe I just shed a tear. I love you.
Love you.
So both of you have learned a lot. Obviously, it's communication. There was a lot in your life you're going through. In the rest of your transition, there was a lot in terms of your relationship and a lot of the spectacle of your work and life balance. And so what was like the last straw that broke the camel's back, would you say, in your eyes, for both of you, that set off the 5-year break plus your break?
I feel like when you ask that question, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
deep down.
Mm-hmm.
Why was I cut out the book completely? Like, there was no Demi if I was such like a big standpoint in your life and a big sisterhood and best friend, and we went through so much together. Because I think that brainstorming with you when the book was first coming out,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to, we were like, so excited, and I know we had our pivot, but why was I cut out?
How could I keep you in? How could I? It didn't make any sense. There were stories that were kept throughout. Who is Demi? I didn't want to make it something where you felt uncomfortable. We weren't on speaking terms. And at the back of my book, I had like a glossary of all my friends. I'm going to have Demi there when I'm not even in pictures with Demi anymore. It did not make sense. And I did cut out your friend dictionary, glossary, whatever you want to call it, index. But there are several stories in it. And it makes no sense. And I didn't even care. I was like, leave her in this chapter. Just don't name her. Call her one of my friends. And I feel like that was like my way of dealing with it. Another thing I wish I didn't do. Thing I wish I didn't have to do, because I mean, there's publishers behind books and they're like, well, who's this? Who's that? There's editors. It's like, we did start it, but it was just something that I wish I could change.
That's the only thing that you say, that when you say like, oh, I knew this day would come, that I'm like ... because if I had a book, which I will one day, and there was a lot going on, you're going to be in it. No matter if we are on standing terms, if I'm this or that, you were a big part of my history of like childhood, adolescence, growing into my 20s to where you would be there. So I think that was like my big, I think the wedding was one. The wedding was like a, whoa, we're really not going to talk anymore. Like this is done. And then
final.
The cutting out of the book was like it's really there. Like this is really serious.
Yeah.
You know? But I think we can go in that on our own and talk about it. But that's the only thing that like leaves me lingering of like, I was so quick to and cut out of a book when I meant so much, as to now just the book is wrapped. So I think that was like my bit like upset, because I've had so much history with you. You know that it's just been like beyond. We didn't talk to each other for 5+ years, but beyond that, it's been like almost 6 years that like we had that sisterhood with. You know?
Did you read the book?
I didn't.
Because you're in it.
I'm just labeled as my friend. No.
So why would? How do you know that you were cut out if you didn't read it?
Because I asked others that read it on audiobook, and I was like, was I in it? And they're like, you weren't mentioned. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm thinking, I don't know the exact wordage, but I'm pretty sure I am in the book.
You're in the book.
Yeah,
That's
you are
crazy.
you are in
I
the
don't know
book.
if I can
You
swear.
just weren't in the glossary because it didn't make sense. That's what it was.
You
And
weren't in the it's literally in the glossary. It's like my mom, Gigi's dad, Gigi's brother,
Mark, Sierra,
me.
yeah.
It says
the
La
main
Demi?
cast of
No,
characters.
that's what you were cut out
Demi,
of. But you're in the
not
book.
Everybody that's in the book has a glossary thing with a picture.
It was just a fun format that
it's-
we did, which you would know because you helped me with it.
Demi,
But I was just
know
eluded from it.
You were
in
eluded from the glossary,
book.
yes.
You're okay. Now I feel like you're kind of pushing a
No,
little
I'm
bit
not.
of a
It's fine.
narrative.
It's the truth.
It's fine. No, it's
We
fine.
talked about this in the
Pushing a little
poll.
bit of a
Yes,
narrative
and I
where
asked you and you
Gigi
said,
cut you
yeah.
off
on my
her
shit.
life.
And you
You're-
know
course.
what we
You're
said behind
pushing it
camera,
a
off
little
camera? You looked at me and you said, my next book.
Yes. And
And
that's
we were
not
like-
to say that there's one not in the works, one not
All right,
off the
okay.
table.
Insert that.
So
I don't think it's a narrative. I think it's just a perspective, because we all
okay,
have
it's
you know, as a significant other, you have your every heart and being for Gigi to protect and love, and this that you're
my
what,
God, of
like Gigi
course.
has her perspective, Demi has that.
But
So
no, that's not to say that I don't
Right.
have my heart and soul for Demi also, because I totally do. I've known Demi for
Before you met
basically-
Gigi.
I met Demi before I met Gigi. I love and adore this woman with my whole heart. I totally do.
he doesn't say that shit.
Stop that with all that. I know.
I just feel really attacked.
But
I'm
what?
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Gigi.
Yes.
Between us.
Yep.
Do you feel like I was cut from the book?
Yes, because I did it.
Yes. And I know you did. Because we
Yes.
have way more history to talk about.
Yes.
To your husband's perspective, he can see that maybe a story time or this and that I was included. But Nats, between us, I know in my heart I was cut from the book, because I know how much I played a role in the scabs and the staples
I'm
and
just
the
saying
this
that
and the
you
that.
weren't fucking totally erased from it. You're in the book.
Yes,
You're
that's
in
what
the
I'm saying too.
pages of the book. You're just not in the context of like the glossary of people. You don't have a picture in it, but you're in it.
Well, that hurts me. And
Yeah, I'm
not
sure
now.
it does, but
Back
a lot
then
of
it
shit
did.
that you did hurt me and hurt Gigi and hurt our relationship and hurt our three-way relationship.
And I take
So-
accountability now. As an adult and a grown woman, I'm sorry. I fully take apology. I told you on camera. I told you. I apologize.
Can we please move on? I've had it. Just next question, please. That's enough.
No.
That's
but-
enough. That's
but-
enough.
But don't erase
That's enough. I've had enough of this question.
Don't
Thank
erase
you.
my apology, though.
You already did. Let's move on.
So, Gigi, what do you want to say to Demi, and where do you want this friendship to go from here?
I want to never have that amount of time between us go like it had. It killed me. And only until I really talked about it did I know how much it hurt me. But I knew how much along the way it did. You missing so many pivotal moments in my life, me missing so much in yours. And I think what I learned along the way is I already knew how much it was to be there for people, not to get dark, but while they're alive, and really take in the moments while we're still alive at the same time. And I think that this just really taught me to do that even more. I don't want to miss anything else in your life. Anything else pivotal or life-changing, or even the minuscule amount you think that it's going to be a big moment, I want to be there. And I hope that you heard my apologies as much as I hope you did. I really want you to hear this so we can get closure and just move on, because I mean everything that I said. And yeah, I think that's all.
I'll say from my side, too, because this is a two-way street. There is a long gap. We were kids. There was a lot of dents and hiccups that happened. And you've grown into a lady, a wife. And I've grown into Itslademi. And it's gonna be a journey getting to know. Although we know who we are deep down inside, at heart, how wild we can be, how fun we can be. But that's not our brand and us anymore. Obviously, maybe behind closed doors we'll get crazy and get a little bit whatever. But I will say, it's not going to pick up exactly where it left off, and things won't be the same until you and I get to know each other through the next 2 years, 3 years, and
Too long.
but build that again. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be whatever. But I will say, I can walk into a room now knowing we're in the same industry, same event, whatever. Walk over to your husband, walk over to you with that relief of knowing that this is done. The past has been buried. The feelings have been set. The tears have been shed. And enough is enough. We're grown women. And if anything from this point on is to surface, we, whoever involved, you, me, need to sit down and have a conversation as grown women. The immaturity is done. I'm a whole new woman, as you are. I respect that. I respect you. I respect your marriage. And I think from this point on, it just needs to be growth. And it needs to be a whole new foundation that needs to be built if we both deeply feel that it can be built.
I feel like it can be built. I feel like we're already on our way. I'm happy we sat down. I'm happy we got all this off our chest. I just want to relearn you, relearn us, relearn everything as much as you do. But I also feel like it won't take as much work as you think.
No?
Because I feel like we already have each other pretty figured out.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, with the ending of this, there needs to be trust.
Okay.
And the loyalty needs to be 50-50
okay.
at all times. And whatever happens, happens. Okay, guys. So tonight, having Mrs. Gigi Gorgeous Getty on my channel. This has been a testimony, a trial, a long relationship in the works. I want you guys to leave on a happy note, a great note. If there's something going on in your life that you need to make amends, whatever it is, life is short. And I hope you understand that. Reach out, talk it through, and voice. a lot of things in life are miscommunication, and I feel like a lot of things should be communicated. With no further ado, thank you, Miss Getty, for being on my channel and talking through this.
Thank you. Love you, Demi.
Love you too, Gigi. And thank you, Mr. Getty, for voicing your opinion and being a part of this. It means a lot. Thank you, Patrick Starr, for moderating this, asking questions, and allowing to produce this. This has been a lot of years in the works, and time will only tell. So with no further ado, don't forget to live your life. I guess, do you want to add yours to the end?
Yes, stay gorgeous.
Love you both. Or love you three, sorry.
You three. Oh.
Patrick.
I'm like, do we have multiple personality? Like a tight one. Like I need like full. Well, her boobs won't let me get in.